She may be a threat to herself or others. We recommend that she be conveyed to the psychopathic ward until her senses can be restored.
Well, I have been wanting to film this video for quite some time now. I have been through a lot at a younger age, and I'm sure many of you have too, and I think sharing stories just proves that a lot of people aren't alone. So this is when I went to a mental hospital. I was in high school. I was living with my parents at the time. We had a 6-month trial period. That is where I went back with them, and the state was gonna see, okay, do the kids start going to school more? Are they more healthier? Do the parents seem more active in their lives? Is it a more healthier lifestyle? It was just a test run. And it ended up lasting more than 6 months. So during that 6 months, my parents were able to cheat the system, excuse my language.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I sense much fear in you.
They were still doing drugs, they were still violent with each other, they were still neglecting me and my brother, and it was bad. I got really depressed. A lot of the time I would hide myself in my room, and I just couldn't even believe what was happening. Can't even talk. I couldn't even believe what was happening because I thought they changed. They did it for us. It was a lie. We got home, we saw that it was a bunch of bullshit. That triggered a lot in me. I just went into silent mode. At home I was silent, I was distant, I was just, it was bad. And then I would go out with my friends, and that's when I started smoking and I started drinking, and I just got in like a stage of like, I wasn't myself at all. Even my brother saw that. And then my parents got a separation, and that was just mind-boggling to me. I didn't know that would ever happen. And my mom moved just down the street from us. We lived in a trailer park, and she met some guy, and they started dating, and it was just a weird situation.
What the fuck is it?
Me and my dad lived in the same trailer, and I didn't see him for weeks on end. You guys might think I'm exaggerating, I'm lying. Call it what you will, but this was my life.
Huh?
My room was on the one end of the trailer, and his was on the other, and
Who took my liquor?
like the only time I would see him was when I needed something, which was very rare because he actually paid his friends to take care of me and my brother.
Knock that down too.
How he paid them was through drugs. It's pretty ridiculous. Like when I was in high school, again, living with them, I wouldn't be picked up from school until like 3 hours after school. Call my freaking high school, ask them yourself.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
It happened. And the only reason why I was picked up was because of my dad's friends, drug addict friends. The reason why I say a lot, I just want to make that known right now, is because I am racking my brain trying to figure out what I want to say next, and it's just a lot. Sorry, that was my girlfriend. It's just a lot to kind of wrap my head around. So anyways, it was disgusting. Things were getting worse. I was becoming miserable. How everything started. Right now. I texted my friend. I was in high school and I was texting her, and I said, I wish I was dead. I want to die. I do not want to be here anymore.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I am going to commit suicide.
The next day, I go to school, and they called me into the office. I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was because I didn't do my homework, blah blah, because I literally sucked in class. I didn't do anything, didn't pay attention, didn't do my homework. I didn't care about anything, and it's because of my life at home. So I thought, okay, I'm in trouble again because I didn't do my work, whatever. I did not care. I was probably high at the time because that's all I did was sulk, smoke, drink. That's it. So I went into the office and there was a police officer, and I'm like, okay, this is how it happened before when I got taken away from my parents. So I seriously thought I was getting taken away from my parents again. And I was like, I'm not surprised they're doing drugs, blah, blah, blah. But it turned out my friend's mom saw the text message on her phone. And I lied so hard, you guys, you wouldn't even believe it. They're like, are you suicidal? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I was joking. Then the lady looked down at my arms. I had eraser burns. I had cuts on my wrists because I did hurt myself. At the time, I was not trying to kill myself per se. I was not strong enough to do so. People who commit suicide are strong freaking people. I'm just gonna say that now. It's devastating, but they're strong. I was too weak to do so, but I constantly would hurt myself. The lady looked down at my wrist, the cop looked down at my wrist, and when I say lady, I think it was the counselor, I'm almost positive, and they're like, you need to come with us, and I'm like, what? So I ended up going.
Alright, everyone stay behind this line. And nothing bad will happen, unless you want it to.
We went to the city away from mine, and it was at a mental hospital. But I think it was for older people because they put me in this room with just one chair. And then this lady came in and she's like, okay, so I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions. And I'm like, okay, what is happening? And she's like, I called your dad and he's on his way. And I was figuring he was gonna come get me. So she asked me a bunch of questions. I lied about everything. Like, I was trying to seem like the happiest person in the freaking world, but I knew it was coming off as fake as my dad ended up coming in and he's like, okay, I'm here to pick up my daughter, blah, blah, and she's like, no, come and sit in here. So they brought more chairs in and we were all sitting in the room and they were asking him about like how I act at home, and he literally had no answer. Like, he couldn't even answer. Like, he was high on something, I don't even know. And my brother was with him and my brother was trying to answer, and what he was saying was the opposite of what I was saying, and it was just a whole mess. And my dad's like, okay, well, we're gonna go now. And she's like, no, actually, since she is still because since I was still like in foster care, but I was just in the trial with my parents, I was still like I was still in the state. Does that make sense? Like, my name was still like, the state was my guardian. Like, it's hard for me to explain. So my dad didn't really have any regulations or rules on me, and they could take me. So I thought I was gonna be staying there, but no, they brought a freaking ambulance in with a freaking gurney. And I'm like, a gurney? Gurney. Like, what are you, like, I didn't even know what was happening. Gurney. So they explained everything to me, that I'm going to a mental hospital in Vallejo. If you guys are curious, I was living in California, which was like 45 minutes away from where I even was. And they're like, you're gonna be there and they're gonna help you, da da da. Like, I was traumatized. I was crying, freaking the fuck out. So I got on the gurney. We went our way. I was crying. I was trying to hide it. I was terrified. I didn't end up arriving at the mental hospital until like midnight, so everyone was sleeping. I didn't know what to expect at all. I had to take out my nose ring. I didn't have snake bites at the time. I don't have them now, as you guys can tell. I used to have them, but I had to take out my nose ring. I had to give them everything. The only thing I was allowed to keep was my clothing. Literally, that's it. And all I had was a shirt and a pair of pants. I didn't get sent with anything, obviously. It was like a last minute thing. And
why? I can't believe that. I'm crying tears. I'm crying.
they put me in a room with 3 other girls, and I don't remember their names at all. So I was in there and I was like freaking out and I was trying to sleep. I actually ended up falling asleep, which was ironic, but they woke me up at 5 a.m. to take my blood, and I was like, okay, this is weird. So they took my blood and I just kind of accepted it and went with it. And at that time the sun was coming out and I could like see in the room, and that's when I noticed that there were 3 girls. And I noticed like the table next to me, there were like markings of like how long people have stayed there, and it was crazy. Like people were there for like years.
I guess I'm puzzled as to why it is I have to be in a mental institution. Call me a cab.
Okay, you're a cab.
I was like, no, I'm not gonna be here for years. Like I was scared. And so not only did they take my blood, but they took the other 3 girls' blood. And then after everything was said and done, like it was time to wake up for breakfast, and it was so weird. Like some of the people I met there, like there was this guy there who like saw leprechauns, and I was like, that's how I know like I do not belong here. I know I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm just like really depressed. And like I would explain that. And like, so the first day I was there, I met my roommates, which was really weird. And the 2 girls, because it was 2 beds and then 2 beds, the 2 girls in front of me, they were like lesbian lovers. I didn't know I was lesbian at the time, so it was really weird, and like they were really weird. And this part kind of was when I was really like, where the fuck am I right now? One of the girls had a ring that wasn't taken out, which was weird because my nose ring had to be taken out, and she literally pulls it off right in front of me and starts bleeding. And I'm like, I literally got the fuck up. I went out, talked to the staff, and said I do not want to be in that room at all. No thank you. Like I haven't even been awake for like 3 hours and I'm already like traumatized to death. And they're like, oh, we can't do that, this whole thing. And then there was like this mini school there where we had to go to school for a couple hours, and then we had to do like mini PE, which was like listening to music. Like it was really weird. I met this guy named Ronnie. He's the only name I remember. I don't know why, honestly. I think I had a crush on him, to be honest. I don't remember why he was there. I know he was really quiet. And I remember this was like the second day I was there, one of the rules was you cannot pass notes, you can't whisper, you can't talk in secrecy, you can't anything. And this was when MySpace was a thing. I passed him a note and I gave him my MySpace, and I got caught. And I was really scared when I got caught because it was this black nurse. That's all I remember about her. I'm not racist, I'm just trying to describe her the best of my ability, but that's all I remember. She's like, come with me, and I'm like, oh,
Okay.
fuck, what is about to happen? And she put me in this room with padded walls. I'm not kidding. Like I always thought that was like just like a myth, like that mental hospitals had padded walls, but this was legit a padded wall. But it was blue padded wall. It wasn't white like what you expect, and there was a freaking punching bag. It was weird. Never have I seen that. And she showed me a little note that I handed Ronnie, and she's like, you know, you can't be doing this. And I was trying so hard not to cry. I did not want to cry a single time while I was there because I wanted to leave the place more than anything. I wanted to seem happy. I wanted to seem all these things that I wasn't. And she was just like grilling me. She's like, you have to sit in here for an hour and think about what you did wrong. Oh my God. Like I literally felt this small. The minute she left, I just fell to the floor, the padded floor, and I just started crying. And then, ironically enough, after that little padded floor incident, I needed to go to a different room, and I'm like, oh God, what did I do now? What are they gonna do now? Shoot me up with something? Like, I was honestly traumatized. And I actually had to go and sit with like these 3 people, and they were just asking me questions. I didn't know who these people were. duh, they work there, but I don't know who or why, what. They were asking me how I was doing, and they're like, okay, we're gonna put you on these antidepressants. But they were like asking, have you done antidepressants before? And I'm like, yes, I did Prozac, it didn't work. I did Wellbutrin and it did, but then I stopped taking it, blah blah. So they're like, okay, we're gonna put you back on Wellbutrin, blah blah. And I was like, okay. And she's like, you'll start it tonight. And I'm like, okay. So I started the medicine that night, and actually that night, which was my second night there, more people were coming in, more girls, and I guess they remembered that I wanted to switch rooms. They're like, okay, you have to go switch rooms, but it's going to be with the old people. And I was like, old people? Because I literally thought it was just this little segregated place, but there was actually more to it. So we walked down this like really long path, and I ended up being roommates actually with someone that I still talk to today. She's on my Facebook, everything, so it's kind of ironic. And that's the whole story all in itself. So I became roommates with these two other girls. One of them was pretty normal, which is the one I still talk to now. But the other one was really creepy. My girlfriend's mom stopped really loud. They're downstairs and I heard her, so it must be funny. Okay, this other girl was really creepy. I remember one night we were sleeping and she started just like touching herself, and like she kept saying, oh, Amberlynn, oh, Amberlynn. Like it was really bad. Amberlynn, I love you. I had to tell the staff and they wouldn't believe me. My roommate was like witness, and she kept saying, oh my god, it really is happening. Like that's a whole other story, but like every roommate I had, there was always like some creepy instance, and I just didn't want to deal. So I have so much I want to say, and I feel like I'm skipping everything. Kind of about like meals. We weren't allowed to sit with guys. Everything we ate was off a plastic. We used plastic silverware, obviously, and no forks though, it was always spoons. No knives, always spoons. Paper plates, napkins. We weren't allowed to have pens.
Go ahead, take one step and I'll jam this in my aorta.
Lisa, your aorta is in your chest.
Good to know.
We were able to have crayons. That is what I wrote Ronnie the little thing on. That's the only thing we were allowed to have was crayons. What we did on our free time really was just sit in this little like room, and there was a place for really small kids that I didn't know about, teenagers, and then older people, and I had to sleep with the older people. So every day there was a few meetings that we did. This was like 10 years ago, so I don't remember everything, but I do remember there was every day we did this fun meeting where we all sat in a circle, and there was always like a game that we played.
Make a circle, big, 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 small, 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 big, big, big.
But it was a way to kind of like express ourselves and just talk about like how we were feeling and why we were there, what we were gonna do to change, and this and that. Day 5, I think it was, there was another meeting, and everyone shared how long they've been there. Staff shared some stories about how long people are usually there for, and people usually stayed easily longer than 3 months. And I was like, no, there's no way. I wasn't happy there. I was odd there. I didn't get to shower. Like, I had the same shirt and the same pants the whole time, never washed. Not one time did I get to change or anything, and I found that to be really, really weird. I will say that, like, not once. And the whole time I was there, I got to shower one time. But I'm getting to the point where how long I had to stay. It was, yeah, the 5th day, everyone was like sharing like how long they've been there and this and that, and I was like, I've only been here 5 days, and everyone's like, da, da, da. I was to the point where faking my happiness became really easy.
Now today I'm going to talk to you about being happy, and right over here, this is a picture of a happy face. Now you can tell that because the face is smiling, and you know that someone who looks this way feels very, very good.
I faked my answers when I talked to people. I acted as if my Wellbutrin was helping, even though I was only on it for like 2 or 3 days, even though like antidepressants do not start kicking in until like 2 or 3 weeks. So it was all a bunch of B-freaking-S. But I did everything they told me to, and day 6 I talked to those 3 same people yet again, and I was like, you know, I'm happy, I'm fine, I can go home, I promise I won't do it again. And I got to go home on day 6. I couldn't even believe it. That's finally when I cried in front of people. I was so happy. I was around so many weird people.
Hey man, you're black. You are too. What the?
Like the day before, this little girl got restrained and a needle went into her arm in front of me, and I felt like I didn't belong there, really. Like, I understand that I was so depressed that I just didn't want to be on this earth anymore, but I feel like sometimes people get like that, and I wouldn't really kill myself. But I want to say that those 6 days changed my life, because I stopped feeling like I wanted to die. I saw people in that mental hospital that were way worse off. I actually left the mental hospital happy, and the whole time I was faking happiness, and I left actually happy. And I saw my mom the day I got out, and she was like in tears, and she was like, oh my god, you seem like a different person. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was, but being in that mental hospital changes somebody. I can definitely tell you that. Even though it was 6 days, it was still a lot of freaking hours that I had to deal with just weirdness. That's really the only way I can describe it, was just weirdness, because everywhere I turned something weird was happening, and I didn't feel, it almost feels like a dream. And I left. I stayed on Wellbutrin for a couple more years, and honestly it worked, it helped. And one of the weird rules was that if I got caught with a knife 10 full years after I left the mental hospital, I would have to go back. I mean, even if it was just a knife in my purse, like for like safety reasons, if a cop saw it on me and they saw that I had that, like that I was in a mental hospital or whatever, that I would have to go back to a mental hospital. That was the only thing that was like a rule for me. I don't even know. But just for the most part, it was a crazy experience. I will never forget it in my whole entire life. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if anyone says that I'm lying, I swear, because I make these videos to prove to you guys that I'm real, I'm raw, and shit has gone down. And I want you guys to share your stories with me. If you have, you know, if you're bipolar, schizophrenia, you're depressed, anything, let me know in the comments below, because I will be there for you, I promise. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.